Hey guys, it's me, Tim Bestio, and today we'll be this is my second video of today, but today I'll be telling you guys my predictions for round 18. Believe it or not, we're already at round 18 and we only have, including round 18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more rounds to go. So there aren't too many games left for some teams to have a comeback mode. So, I guess we'll start with the first game. Sydney versus Bulldogs. Sydney just lost to Richmond, which practically ended their finals hopes after making the grand final last year by beating Collingwood by a point in the prelim. And then they proceeded to lose by, I think, 80 points it was. And they haven't. Their, their recent form is all three types of results: a win, a draw, and a loss. So, yeah, it's good to see how they're respectful of all three types of results. Probably not the best idea at the moment. They probably should be winning at least two out of the three, but they have not done that. And people looks like the betting thinks Sydney will win, but I just think the Bulldogs are too strong. And Bulldogs are coming off a loss against Collingwood, which would have ached them because they kicked the first 3 goals and they kicked the final 4 goals. So the Bulldogs will be very annoyed of coming off a loss, and I think the Bulldogs will actually win that game. So the Bulldogs will win that, not Sydney. Even though the betting thinks it's Sydney, it's only because it's Sydney's home ground, and there are some teams that can beat that. Like a lot of teams cannot beat Sydney at their home ground because the home ground is different. But there are some teams that can ignore that, and I'm actually not quite sure if the Bulldogs are one of them, but I trust them. But let's just see. When was the last time these two teams played, and what was the score? 2022. Yikes. Okay, so the Bulldogs clearly don't know how to play at the SCG, but they're missing some of their players. The Sydney still don't have a back line, and as we all know, the Bulldogs have a very tall forward line, and the Bulldogs are coming off a loss. Thus, I think they'll be very annoyed and will want to win. So I think the Bulldogs will win that. Moving on to the next game, we have Melbourne versus Brisbane. Brisbane have the MCG hoodoo curse, so I don't think they'll win that game. And obviously the betting agrees with me there. Same prices as the previous one, which is a bit strange, but I think Melbourne will win that game. Brisbane are very good, and Melbourne aren't performing the best at the moment, but it is Melbourne's home ground, and Brisbane do have an MCG curse. And I think, though there are times where Brisbane breaks out the curse, this is not going to be one of them, so I think Brisbane will win. Collingwood versus Fremantle. Collingwood will win. There's no discussion. Fremantle were collapsing at these very worst times because they could have made finals, but they've just lost their last three in a row, and I think they've lost a few more than that. But it only shows 3 here. But they haven't won many, and they're now sitting 14th. They won't make finals. They won't, and their percentage is absolutely downright horrible, and it's about to get a whole lot worse on Saturday. Suns versus St Kilda. Suns. I would have bet Suns originally, but they just lost their coach. They're not winning that game, and I think the Saints will win that game. Even though the betting clearly shows you should bet the Suns just lost their coach. This isn't one of those ones where they've selected an interim manager and the interim manager always gets their little win. This is one of those ones where the interim manager ain't winning, in my opinion. I don't know if I'm right. I may be proven very wrong, but I think the Saints will win that. Then we have Port versus Carlton. Now this is a trick one because clearly it's Carlton's home ground, but they're thinking that Carlton will lose, and I think Port will win. Port is second, Carlton is 11th. Carlton are making a late charge at the finals because they were out of contention. But they've recently started making a charge for it. And it's interesting to see if they can make it. They can, theoretically, because their percentage is pretty high, coming off mainly that West Coast defeat they had a while ago. And they've had very big defeats in the last 3 days. They beat Fremantle by 60-something. They won against Gold Coast by like 80. And they beat Hawthorn by a whole smack ton as well. So they have had big wins. Granted, they are against bad teams. They have not played Port. But it is not a Port away game. It is a Port home game. And Port are missing the ruckman, which Carlton are also missing, so that's cancelled out. But Carlton have very tall forwards. Port do not have tall defenders at the moment. And that's why if there is one upset, last week when I did my predictions, I said Gold Coast probably had the best chance at upsetting, but I still went for Port, and Gold Coast did show a bit, but then they ended up losing because of the third quarter 9-1. in terms of goals, but I think Carlton actually did upset. Yeah, that's how crazy I'm going to be. I think Carlton will actually upset Port Adelaide. And if I'm wrong, whoops. That's all I can say because I really do think Carlton can win that. Anyway, Geelong versus Essendon. No matter how well Essendon are going, it is GMHBA Stadium, and Essendon are missing a ruckman. So I think Geelong will win that only because it's GMHBA Stadium. If it was MCG, I think Essendon could win that. Adelaide versus GWS. Adelaide definitely need to win, and Adelaide don't really lose at their home ground. So Adelaide will win that. Sorry, GWS. But GWS are really getting close to finals, but this is not one of those games that they'll win. Bro, why am I getting a hard one? North versus Hawthorn. Hawthorn are playing much better than North, but North deserve a win at one point, right? And it is their home ground. Is this the week that North actually get a result? Thing is North just lost Griffin Logue, so they're missing players. I'm gonna go with Hawthorn. I just think Hawthorn can do it. It's hard because I think North deserve a win, and I feel like this could be it. But I'm just gonna bet against them. And yeah, I never discuss. I'm just deciding not to discuss and explain why West Coast will lose. It's pretty simple, I think, from now on why they will lose. They're horrible. That's that. But yeah, those are my predictions. So it's me. Thanks guys for listening. If you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Anyway, thanks guys for listening. It's me, Tempestia, out.